and he was
Well,
trying to win championships.
I mean, I mean, the again, this all goes back to the this all goes back to the fact that the biggest success that we've had recently was because of Tom Brady, and and now, like, we're
Hey, let me
I
ask you a question. Is Brandon Cooks on Buffalo?
Yes.
yes,
When did this happen?
They signed him partway through the year.
Okay. Buffalo finna go down here and tie this game. I'm just putting it out there right now.
God, I hope you're. I'm watching it too, and I praise that they do.
Well, it's a minute left, and they're on maybe the 15-yard line going in.
Well, you're behind me.
Hey, don't say nothing then. If I'm behind you, don't say nothing.
Yeah, just so I got 23 seconds left on my clock. So you're behind me.
Oh, shoot, 23. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and
All
Buffalo is
right, don't
on.
say nothing.
Okay, all right. I won't say nothing, but I'm.
Okay, I just hit 23. All right, so
Oh, so
we
you're
are
only.
about. I'm about a play or two behind,
You're just a
maybe.
play behind. If you're on 23
Yeah.
seconds, Buffalo called a timeout with the ball on the 3 yard line.
All right. So yeah, but back to the conversation. Uh, yeah. So I mean, if it's Bill Belichick recommending a coach, I'm gonna listen to that. Bruce Arians, I may not listen to it, even though everybody loves Bruce Arians for bringing us the Super Bowl. Tom Brady brought us the Super Bowl. He just happened to be the head coach. It's a totally different situation than Tom Brady and Bill Belichick playing together for 20 years. Like, you know, Belichick did his thing defensively. He was the man. He was, the last voice, had all the say so on the personnel. You know, that guy had a huge amount to do with why the New England Patriots were, doing what they was doing. And there was no questions, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You had a great GM over there and owner. You might as well say owner of GMs, Robert Kraft. I don't even know who the GM was in New England. It might have been both of them. Who knows? But um, at the end of the day, you got at the end of the day, you have a situation where a previous coach was allowed to set a guy up for success, and when you left, you gave him the keys to the house, and you said, "Here, it's all yours," and you left him some pretty good players in a decent team. Now, since that time, we really haven't, as a Bucks fan, we really haven't gotten better. But if you look in the sense of what New England has done since that time, they've obviously changed head coaches, but as a organization, they have improved and gotten better year after year.
well, yeah. I mean, last year they went from, what was it, 4-12 to 12-3 right now, something like that. I mean,
Uh,
that's a pretty big turnaround. Um, so, Debo and Boss Hog, I want to ask you guys this, since we're talking about Bill Belichick. Now, Debo, me and you, we run in the same we run in the same circles.
yeah.
When it comes to the Bucks, and I know you've seen this statement. I know you've seen the picture, but Bill Belichick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yes or no?
No, because he's not leaving
Okay.
college. I don't think Bill Belichick is going to come back to the NFL to coach, and I don't think the Buccaneers is the destination that he would want even to make that attempt if he was thinking about coming back to the
Well,
NFL.
and this is what I want to know because supposedly last year, before Belichick went to North Carolina or signed on with North Carolina, supposedly he said he was interested in the Tampa Bay in the Tampa and coaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, do you believe that? Because I don't. Because
Well,
if he was interested last year, why would he be interested this year?
if he was interested last year, I would have made the move last year because that's what he's saying. If
That
he's
is a
really interested in coaching the Buccaneers and he said this, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling him and I'm saying, what is it going to take?
well. I mean, I don't know if you can. I really don't know if you can take that statement with a grain of salt because he hasn't come out on TV and said it. He hasn't said it in any interviews. It was supposedly said during a conversation with a friend or something like that. Well, one conversation, one time with an unknown source. I'm sorry, but that doesn't equal fact. Not to me,
Yeah.
it don't.
No, if you can't name your source when you're doing a hit piece like that, if you can't name your source, then you're pretty much making up. To me, this is the way I break down journalism. Like if you're making a statement and you're saying, I, heard this from round the way or from around somebody, and you can't name your source. Now, a lot of times they don't name sources for reasons, professional reasons. You don't want to out the person if it's a situation where if you mention a name, that person is in threat of losing their job or something like that. But too many times you read these articles where you see
Unnamed source.
unnamed source.
Yes.
Like if you're trying to put an article out and you're trying to get a point across and that's how you identify your information source is unnamed source, I'm not believing a word you saying.
Right. Um,
Like, why should I believe you?
exactly. I mean, would I mind Bill Belichick coming to Tampa? No, I wouldn't. But again, we're looking at the fact that this man is how old? He's in his what, mid to late 70s, something like that.
Yeah, something
Uh,
like that.
yeah. I mean, dude's not going to be around for a very much longer. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're kind of tapping on that door of being 80 years old and all that, you know what? I mean, I'm sorry, but and I mean no disrespect to Bill Belichick, arguably one of the greatest.
Hey William, I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
Yo,
Buffalo Bills, you as a fan base, you got to be happy about the fight in this game that your team showed in this fourth quarter to come back. But Josh Allen, my man, you have to make that throw going across the back of the end zone. The guy had 3 steps on the receiver, and he threw the ball 3 yards ahead of him.
oh no,
They scored. They
God,
scored. They went for 2. The play was wide open. They couldn't have executed it any better. And Josh Allen threw the ball off balance and threw it out of bounds,
oh
going across the
no,
back of the end zone.
no. come on.
Wow, man. You
Ugh.
know what? It's good to fight and it's good to, want to go for the win. It's the end of the season. Maybe this game, in the whole sense of the thing, don't really mean much as far as playoff seeding and stuff like that because it's a non-conference game. It's a non-divisional game. But you're playing to win. As good as their defense is playing, I may keep the field goal and just say, you know what, we're gonna play it we're gonna win it in overtime. But I understand. I understand what they did there, and because the play was so wide open and the quarterback missed the throw, you can't really get mad. I mean, the play, everything worked. You went down, you scored a touchdown, you tied the ball game up. I mean, well, you didn't tie it up. But how we get here is the possession before that when you scored a touchdown, your kicker missed the field goal on the extra point. So when you should have been going down the game to score a touchdown and to win it on the field goal, your kicker misses the extra point before that, and then now you're scoring to either kick it or tie it, or you're going to win it with two. Maybe they still go for two, even if the kicker makes the field goal on the touchdown. Maybe they still go for two, and they go for the win and say, you know what, it's late in the season. I'm not going to waste my players playing the overtime when it really don't matter. So, I mean, I get it. I understand it, but man, Josh Allen, he's going to be thinking about that throw, for the next couple of days.
He's gonna be thinking about it for a minute. He really is.
When you see the throw, William, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he missed that throw. He could have just lobbed it out there, and he probably could have made a better throw left-handed. I mean, it was that bad of a throw. Yeah, it was that bad of a throw, man. But hey, great game for both the Eagles and the Bills. Going into the playoffs, you got two teams that should be favorites in their respective conferences to go all the way. This could be a Super Bowl preview. It very well could be. I'll tell you what, with the Chiefs being out of it, the Ravens being out of it, and who is the other team? It's a third team in there that's not in the AFC playoffs. But your hurdles are all gone. You don't have to beat Baltimore, and you don't have to go to Kansas City. So, I mean, you still might have to go to Denver, and Denver might be a problem in January. You're still probably gonna have to go to Denver because Denver is probably gonna finish with the best record in the AFC, and they're gonna have home field advantage, all the way through. So you got to prepare for that. You got to be ready for that, man. But I mean, great games today. We'll get into some of those games here in a little bit, but we talk a lot of Bucks football in the group text, and I want to do some of these video feeds for the Bucks group. So just so they can get a different opinion of what's going on with the state of the team, and what the players can do to, or coaches, or they're not gonna listen to us. We the little guys anyway. We're nobody. But at the end of the day, we're gonna talk about it. So Boss Hog had to run. You seen him in there getting dinner ready, so he probably had to cook for the family and stuff. So we gonna carry the torch for him. All right. And we're gonna get into the state of the Buccaneers, and we're gonna talk about this Carolina Panthers game today. And a lot of the conversation in the Bucks group. So William, you in the Bucks groups, I'm in the Bucks groups. These last, what would that make? 7 out of 8 games we done lost, something like that. I mean, second half of the season been atrocious. We've been easily the worst football team in the NFL the second half of the season.
Yep.
There's no sugarcoating that. There's no ifs and buts. You can say, oh, but we have talent. Oh, but this player is injured. That player is hurt. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You put together a 53-man roster to be able to combat against
Hey, Debo,
the
I'll be
elements
right
of the
back.
season. Yeah. So you do that, to combat against the elements of an NFL season. You have to be prepared and ready to face challenges. Most seasons, you're gonna have challenges, whether it's injuries, suspensions, just the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of the season. You're gonna have challenges to have to want to be able to, to navigate them, put together the best possible roster you can, attack all your needs in the off season. Not what you want to do, but attack your needs in the off season. And as me, William, and Boss Hall earlier was talking, I don't think we've done a good enough job of attacking our needs when we get to the off season, and thus that's why we're sitting here. That's why you're doing things like you're going out there and you're signing JPP to come in and provide you a spark. Like you got a league in a free agency base that's full of players, and you're going to JPP to give you a spark for a possible late season run to win your division and get into the playoffs. That ain't the guy you need to be leaning on to help. He's not the guy. He hasn't played a game in 3-4 years, sitting on the couch. Is he still conditioning? Is he still in shape? I don't know. I mean, he's not in football shape. Like, he's not ready to play. I mean, you only ready to play when you're practicing, preparing to play. You can't simulate practice doing any type of conditioning. You just can't do it. You can't simulate the game doing any type of conditioning. There's a level of intensity that is required for you to be prepared and be ready to play in any type of game, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, baseball. It don't matter. Soccer. There's no intensity in practice you can duplicate that can match in game intensity, because the circumstances are different. Like, from a football standpoint, you can't duplicate that intensity in practice because you're not out there trying to kill your teammate. But when you get in the game, I'm trying to literally put my face through his chest every time as a defender. I'm trying to knock him out. My end goal is to knock this dude out. Not technically hurt him, but every time I hit somebody, I'm trying to knock him out. As a defender, that's what you're trying to do. So offensively, you're trying to combat against that, and you can't prepare for that in practice or training in the off season or anything. Lifting weights, you can't. So I wasn't expecting JPP to come here and help anything. To me, it was a desperation move. I can't believe the Tampa Bay Lightning just let them come all the way back. But hey, that's another thing. But to me, it's a desperation move because you've done a poor job in your scouting and development that you have to lean back on a guy that hasn't played a game in 3 years at least. And you bring him in for what? It's a totally different situation than Graham in Philadelphia, who just was playing last year and retired, and the Eagles needed pass rushing help. So he came back halfway through this season to provide them with help. He is more prepared and ready to play football right now than JPP. And that's not taking nothing away from JPP, who the player that he was, but you're not that guy anymore. So anybody that believed that JPP was going to come here and provide us anything, bro, I got the question, like, what type of football knowledge you have? Like, our defense is not good all around. I'm not just talking about one single position. I'm not even talking about what level, whether it's the first level, second level, or the third level. We're not good. So if we're not good, what is a player that's been out of football for 3 years going to come in and provide that players who are active and current and younger and stronger can't do or aren't doing? So at the end of the day, man, this season has gone down the tubes. Like, I'm gonna see if I can share my screen here. And just go into a little bit of depth on, where actually where we were and where we're going as far as like the season, man, because it's crazy. It's people don't like truth, but I've been saying this for probably the last almost 4 years, but definitely the last 3 years. I've been saying that our division, the NFC South, is so bad that we just happen to be the best of the bad teams. Like, this season, the team is going to win the NFC South and not be over 500, I think. I mean, before I say this with my chest, let me make sure I can confirm this. Okay, so NFC South. Right now, currently, okay. Yeah. So if the Bucs win, they'll win the division. If they win against Carolina next week, they will win the division at 8-9. Every other division winner in the NFL has at least 11 wins, except for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has 9. They're 9-7. But my point is this: you got two 11-win teams in the AFC East, Buffalo, New England, right? You got two 11-win teams in the AFC South, Jacksonville and Texans. You have 2 in the AFC West, Chargers and the Broncos. You got 1 in the East, 1 in the North, none in the South. And then you got 3 teams in the NFC West with 11 wins. Seattle 13-3. So they're going to be the top seed in the NFC. And it's going to come down to the Broncos and the Patriots in the last week of the season to decide who's going to be at the top. So we're going to bring William back in. Now my guy's laying in the bed. Now he's look like it's okay, man. Hey, don't get too comfortable, bro, and fall asleep. But no, what I'm going into a conversation here. I'm talking about, just the overall sentiment and the strength of the AFC versus the NFC and our division versus the rest of the league, where you're gonna have 8 and 9 winning the division and going to the playoffs and getting a home game. So this is another conversation that we here at the Rat Pack been having for some years. With we've been talking about playoff reseeding. So I'm gonna do a screen share. I'm gonna do a screen share, and we're gonna look at the division, right? Make sure I'm doing this right. All right. So we're gonna look at the division, sharing the screen. All right. So we're gonna look at the division here as a whole and see if you reseeded the playoffs, Bucks would be a 6 seed. We're the worst team in the NFC playoffs. But because we may win our division, whether it's us or Carolina, we'll get a home game while a team that's been better all season long get to go play on the road. I don't
Yeah.
agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think it needs to be, best team has a home game. That's the way all playoff formats should work. You should never have the second best team playing on the road in
So,
any playoff game.
so are you saying potentially something similar to what the college football playoff is?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
something similar to how the playoff is. I mean, if you're a top seed, by record, that's where it need to be because this division crap. Listen, as a Bucks fan, yeah, we benefited from it for the last 3 years because our division being so bad. We haven't really been a top seed playoff team, but because we won our division, all division winners get a home game. Um, but I don't agree with that because you can have a 12, 11, or 12 win team playing on the road in the first round.
Well, you know, like I understand the whole philosophy around, hey, if you win your division, you get at least one home game. Okay,
Yeah,
I get it, and I understand that philosophy. I do, I really do. But with that being said, if you do not have an incentive to better yourself, then why why are you even going to try at all?
yeah,
Because if you can be happy and you can be content with a 9-6 record and you're almost guaranteed to win your division and get that home playoff game, I, then I mean there's nothing to me. There's nothing there to say. Well, you you need to get better. Well, why do we need to get better? We we get we get we get to the playoffs. We get that home playoff thing. Now,
yeah,
with that being said, I believe that there is a I believe that there is a threshold because I'm sorry, but if you go in and you have a losing record or well at the time when we could a 500 record and you still get into the playoffs because you won your division, uh no, no, I don't subscribe to that.
yeah,
If you have a losing record and you get into the playoffs just because your uh your conference sucks, I'm sorry, no. You're going to play on the road. Play pure and simple. Like now, if you go into the playoffs and you have a winning record, okay, you know what? Yeah, you got a winning record. et cetera, and all that, then I'm okay with it. But we're talking about the Bucks here, specifically. Um, Duke, Carolina and Atlanta are catching up with us. Matter of fact, they've already kind of caught up with us.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, um, how do I want to put this? At the end of the day, we've had our little time in the sun and everything like that. We've had our playoff appearances. We just had a Super Bowl a couple year. Well, shoot, it's been more than a couple now. A few years ago and everything. And all that. We had the claim to fame. We're the first team to win a Super Bowl in our home stadium. Okay, you know
Yeah.
what? That's all well and good. That's the feel good story of for right now. But let but let's start talking. Okay, we we are here trying to justify us getting into the playoffs when me and you both know that if we make it to the playoffs, I don't care if it's a home game or not, we're out in the first round. We
Yeah.
we are, but there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it because one of these wild card teams gonna walk into Tampa. They gonna snatch the soul out of us, and they're gonna turn around and walk out. Look at
Yeah.
what the Miami Dolphins just did to us today.
With a rookie quarterback now. Rookie quarterback.
Yes,
I mean, Bucks historically don't have a good track record playing against rookie quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, if you're a team that is serious about competing and you actually have championship aspirations and you believe you're a championship organization and you believe you got the championship pedigree, you can't lose to Miami. I don't care what excuse you could try to come up with to why you lost or who you want
there.
to point the finger. You can't lose to Miami, bro.
Let
You
let let me
cannot lose to
let
Miami.
that Derek. Let me stop you right there. There
What?
is no excuse.
No,
There
it's
is
not.
none.
That's what I'm saying. There's
There
there's
there is
no excuse.
none.
You can't come up with one because these games late in the season, and I love the NFL for how they structured the schedule to make these the last couple weeks of the season meaningful because in the past they weren't. So
No.
it's working out to the best of their ability on how they structure these schedules for every team in the league week 16, 17, and 18 to play in games that mean something, whether they division games, teams playing for playoff seeding, or whatever the case may be. We're no longer going to see teams sitting guys out to rest them for the playoffs because everything is coming down to the final week. So I love it. I mean, as a football fan and play the game myself, I hate these players sitting out or resting. I don't that stuff. I don't. I mean, I'm from a generation where we didn't do that stuff. Like we didn't rest when it was a game. It was time to go.
Yeah.
Whether the game was meaningless in the standings or the game was for the championship, you played, you showed up, and you played the same way. So I don't like the body maintenance and we're resting players for next week. No, man. You either ready to go or you not. So at the end of the day, same thing goes for college. I don't, the players sitting out of bowl games. I hate that too. Like if you're gonna play the whole season with a team and then sit out the bowl game, then I ain't want to be your teammate anyway, bro. Because I want to play. I want to play
Right.
at the end of the day. I understand you trying to get to the NFL or you trying to transfer to another school, so you don't want to jeopardize getting hurt. Well, hey, I'm out here, so why you can't be out here?
Yeah. Exactly. This conversation. I want to add another piece to this conversation. So a news story broke out in Las Vegas that Max Crosby has been put on the IR.
Yeah.
Now there is a story that has been reported by Yahoo Sports, ABC, the local ABC station out there, that part of this he'll be put on the IR and everything is due to them not wanting him to get hurt. Um, and Max Crosby has said that he
Yeah, I don't
wants to.
believe that for Max. I don't believe that for Max Crosby. I don't believe that. That guy plays too hard. He plays with too much passion. I don't believe for 1 second that he want to sit out a game.
No, he doesn't. That's the thing. He left the Raiders facility very disgusted with the team because they were sending him because they don't want him to get hurt.
Well, let him
Evidently,
make that decision. Why are you making my decision to play, putting it in your hands? Like, this is
supposedly
me.
supposedly he has an injury that is going to need to be corrected in the off season with a surgery.
Okay.
Um, and that's my thing. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, but if he gotta have the surgery anyway, sitting him out ain't avoiding the surgery. So why are you sitting him out?
that's it. That's my thing. So my thing is, and I'm not trying to speculate or anything like that, but with the stories that I'm getting now, again by reputable outlets, Yahoo Sports, ABC Sports, and all that, Crosby's not happy with the Raiders. And now, if you're if now, I want you to put on your agent hat
Okay.
for a second. Max Crosby comes to you and says, "You know what? Done with the Raiders. I want out. I want to play. I want to compete." Do you go to the Raiders and force the trade?
Mm, repeat that again. Let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Say that again.
Okay, so you're Max Crosby's agent,
Yeah.
and Max Crosby wants to play. He wants to compete.
Yeah.
He's dealt with the Raiders organization. Do you go to the Raiders and demand?
Nah. Nah.
Okay,
Because
okay,
my guy, if he wants to play and he wants to compete, and he's not saying, "Hey, I want out of the organization." No, until as an agent, until my guy comes to me and says, "I want out of this organization," there's no reason to go to the organization and try to force a trade. Because obviously he wants to be there. Like,
well,
yeah.
so well, I have a theory on this, I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're arguably your star defensive player wants to
Yep.
be out there and he wants to play. Now your season is over. Your season has been over for I don't know how long. Okay, you're done. You're done for the year. Okay,
Yeah.
but you set out your star player. You're setting out your guy that people are coming to see because
Yeah.
make no mistake, these fans that are coming these last 2 weeks, they ain't
Them the
coming to see that
diehards.
they ain't coming to see uh they ain't coming to see nobody else. They're coming to see one of two things. If it's their first time, they coming to see that new stadium in Las Vegas,
Yes. Yes.
and they're coming to see Max Crosby.
Yeah. He's
Okay,
one of the attractions. Yes.
yes. but you send them out. Raiders are arguably in shambles. Like, but yeah, you just drafted Ashton Jesse this year and everything like that. Yeah, that's your running back and all that, right? But this is my theory. What if the Raiders sent him out so he doesn't get hurt because they're looking to trade him?
Okay, now, if that's the case, then it would make more sense what they're doing, or with him. If in the offseason they're going to package him up and try to get something for him, then yeah, I would understand from a GM and an organizational standpoint
Well, because
what they're doing.
that's the only thing, Derek, that I can come up with that makes sense. Why they just abruptly shut him down for the year, Derek?
Yeah,
Derek, they're looking to trade this guy to get some additional draft picks. Uh,
yeah.
they're Derek. There's no easy way to say this. They're rebuilding.
Oh, they've been rebuilding for a while, man. I mean, they've not been in a position to where when they never was through the rebuilding process. They had some good years with Carr when he was there quarterbacking, but even then they were they were still in the rebuilding phase. I personally, when you're in the rebuild, now I'm gonna contradict myself before I even get my statement out. I'm just gonna let everybody know right now. I'm gonna contradict myself in what I'm finna say. So there's stages to rebuilding. And I don't believe you're truly finished with the rebuilding process until you've won some sort of championship or got to a point to where you're in the championship conversation.
Okay.
So the Raiders haven't been in any type of conversation when you're talking about winning the division or winning the AFC. So they've always been in the rebuilding process. Now you have a situation. I'm going to use the Bucks as an example of this situation because this is an organization that, yeah, while they're winning division titles, we got all kind of holes everywhere. And if somebody was to say, "Hey, is this a championship team?" I would say no. And then I would then turn and say, "We got some building to do."
Yeah,
we
we do.
we 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 got some building to do. So there's some situations to where you might be good enough to win, but you haven't built the championship. You haven't won that championship. Like with Brady, Brady was the piece. Brady was the piece. Leonard Fournette was the piece. Gronkowski was the piece, and some of them other guys that came when Brady came. Those are pieces added to get us to the championship level. Before
Mhm.
then, we were in the building process.
Right.
We were in the building process. So now Brady goes, he leaves, and everybody thinks, well, we still got a good team. Yeah and no. We're back to building.
We 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 have a, I guess the best way to put it, we have an okay team.
Yeah,
And
if your team is above a game above 500 or a game below 500, you're just average. That is okay.
exactly, and that's what that's actually the word I was trying to come up with was average. Um, but at the end of the day, we do not we are nowhere close to being ready to go out there and compete for Super Bowl championships.
Well,
What
what we've seen over the last 3 seasons is fool's gold. Like you're good enough to win some games. You're good enough to put yourself in position because of your division being so bad. But once you get to the spectacle, which is the playoffs, once you get there, you're either going to be uh, proving that you belong or you're going to get exposed. And then most of the time, we've been exposed once we got to the playoffs.
Well, yeah.
So
Well, again, this goes back to our defense, and
yeah,
and
and
and,
that's
and
been the problem the whole time is the defense.
and see, and everybody wants to know why I'm all over Todd Bowles. It's because of the defense.
He's
I
the captain.
well, it's not only that, but Derek, what kind of coach is Todd Bowles?
Defense.
Thank you. That, that right there, that is the biggest reason why I have a problem with Todd Bowles, but it ain't just Todd Bowles. Okay, and that's what I want to make clear. Even though I have a problem with Bowles, I'm not putting everything on him because there's somebody above him that is making them draft picks. There is somebody above him making
Yeah.
the decisions. And this goes back to Jason Light. To me, what Jason Light should have done is the minute that he heard that Bruce Arians and Tom Brady were retiring, he should have retired too. Should have retired on the top, Super Bowl winning GM, blah 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 blah, and all that. And you know what? Nobody can take that away from him. The man retired on top. The man retired. The man could have retired as the best. He was a part of the best team of the NFL,
Yeah.
and he did it. Now we're back to making these mediocre picks. Uh, that that defensive guy that we just got last year from UCLA, that Kalaja Conti or whatever his name is. He's okay, but
Yeah.
to me, he's depth. He's depth at best. We do not have a starting defensive line that we need to play the defensive scheme that Tom Bowles wants to play.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to propose. Now I want you to put your GM cap on. You just had your agent cap on. Now I want you to put your GM cap on. My theory is true. Raiders are looking to package Max Crosby. You are the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you picking up the phone?
I'm picking up the phone and I might let's see. If we make the playoffs, well, no matter what, we're picking in the middle of the first round.
Uh
So
huh.
uh, I'm looking for a pass rusher. Max Crosby is the perfect hybrid linebacker to play in a 3-4. He can drop
Uh
into
huh.
coverage and he can rush the quarterback from the edge. Um, there's not a draft pick in this draft that is going to give me better production right now
Thank you.
than Max Crosby.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm putting the package together that's going to involve this year first round pick and maybe another year or so worth of picks, first round picks, maybe a first this year and a second next year or whatever the case may be, and I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I was kind of thinking the same thing. Because if this is true and Max Crosby wants out of Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is already looking to wrap him up in a deal because they're going to want some multiple picks. Okay, because that's the only reason why they're sitting there, and I believe even going to offer this man up is because they want picks
Yeah.
to start this rebuild.
Hey,
But
do
you
you
know
know?
what?
I got a
Oh,
question for you.
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just saw this.
No,
So,
you're good.
so Max Crosby was drafted. He's 28. He's 28. So that means he was drafted in 20. No. 2019. He was drafted in 2019, so he's only been in the league 6 years. He's 28. He has at least 4 great years ahead of him. That's your prime. From 28 to 32, that's your prime years. So right now he's on a 3-year, $106 million contract with $91 million guaranteed. He's the highest non-played quarterback at that time when he signed the deal.
Yep.
He hasn't played. He's been playing through a nagging knee injury since October. He's got 10 sacks, 73 tackles, and 2 forced fumbles, 6 pass defense. That might be more than some of our cornerbacks. And
I want you to think about what you just said. I need you to stop it. I need you to think about what you just said.
yeah,
You said he did this with a nagging knee injury.
with a nagging knee injury.
This man
Since October. We're in December, folks. We're in December. That's 2 months he's played on this knee injury, with whatever it is, which is going to require surgery. So it's probably like some type of cartilage tear or meniscus tear that he's playing through.
Okay. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Derek. I'm with you. If I'm the GM of the Bucks, I am picking up that phone. And you know what? I might just go ahead and get a little crazy and offer up 2 first-round picks for him. Because, yeah, first and foremost, yeah, they're first-round picks. But again, like you just said, there is nobody coming out in this draft that is going to be able to give me that production that Max Crosby is.
No, none at all.
And on top of that, now you're putting a defensive end on that line. You can match him up, or you can put him on opposite sides of Vita Vea. And I mean, kind of fill in the holes. Now, to me, if I am Jason Light and I want to keep my job, and I officially hear that Max Crosby, that the Raiders are listening to phone calls for Max Crosby, I'm picking up that phone. And I am not calling until I get somebody on the other line. Because at the end of the day, if you want to know what if you want my honest opinion, our biggest problem isn't our defensive secondary. It's
our
not.
pass rush. They can't cover for 10 seconds. So I mean, everybody want to talk about, the Bucks secondary is trash. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you there's some guys back there that's not that good. But they're not as bad as it looks either, because we can't get to the quarterback. So in the NFL, most quarterbacks have between 2 and 3 seconds to get rid of the football. 2 and 3 seconds.
With us, it's like
With
5
us,
or 6.
it's double that. We're not getting to the quarterback. We're not even getting him off of his mark. We're not creating pressure. Even when we bring the blitz, we're not like really getting there. So now the defensive backs has the cover for twice as long. These NFL wide receivers are too good to give them 4 to 6 seconds to get open.
Well, that's my biggest thing, because don't get me wrong, but like I said earlier in the show, our defensive secondary is hot garbage. That and that doesn't mean that I don't think we have. I don't think we have 1 or 2 guys that are worth keeping, because I think we do. But again, even with it being a hot garbage, I do not think that it's our biggest hole. I don't think it's our biggest problem. Our biggest
Yeah.
problem is our pass rush. Now,
Yeah.
now the second thing, just like you said, we have other holes. And Derek, me and you, we have talked about this several times. Okay, our 3 biggest holes: defensive line, defensive secondary, and offensive line. That right there, those are our 3 biggest glaring holes. Now, with that being said, if we have the potential to fix or to start fixing one of them problems, yeah, we need to be on the phone. And then there's that guy, what's his name, Hawkinson from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm making a phone call about him too. And
Yeah.
I know what people are going to say. Oh, well, you're just going after the name. No, I'm going after the production. Okay, the production that Max Crosby just put on the field this year, that's
We
better
don't
than.
we don't even have a 10-sack guy on the team.
No, we don't. And this is my other thing. Our best defensive player don't have much longer left, and that's Levante David. Matter of fact, I'm telling you this right now. And if he doesn't, we're going to be in some real trouble. But if I'm not mistaken, Debo, this year is Levante's last year on the
Yeah,
contract.
he only signed a 1-year deal in the offseason. So
Uh-huh.
I think what he's doing is, he's coming up on his playing days being over with, and instead of committing to, a long-term deal, he's just going to sign year by year. So, and you have to be prepared for that guy to not be there. So, listen, I know there's a lot of people out there that's saying, "Oh, Levante David ain't his normal self, and he's showing signs of aging." And yeah,
He's
dude's
getting
been in the
older.
league a long time, of course. But
And
do not, and I repeat, do not. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna look right at the camera. Do not try to convince me that Levante David still is not a good football player when he's got trash all around him.
Levante David is probably one of our 2 best defensive players.
Right now, even though he's struggling, maybe he's not struggling, but you know what? We can do this because we can. So we can go and we'll look up Levante David
All right.
numbers this year. So Levante David, and this is how you know when it's getting close to that time. We're through 17 games.
Mm-hmm.
Normally in 2024, he had 76 solo tackles, which is his lowest output. He's only had 2 other seasons where he's had less than 76 tackles. He's in what, 12 season, 13th season right now. He has 3.5 sacks, and I'll put it on the screen here. I'll put it on the screen for everybody to see. So I'll put it up on the screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lavonte David. This is Lavonte David career. And right now, as you can see, screen here, Lavonte David has, and let's zoom in a little bit on this. All right. So Lavonte David, for his career, has like I said, 2 seasons where he had less than 76 tackles. That was 2016. This is solo tackles. 2016 and then 2021. That's it. This season he has 56 and he's got 1 game left. So unless he gets 20 tackles solo next game, that'll be his career low. In his 13th season, to me, I'm not, that's not bothering me. That's not bothering me because at the end of the day, the guy's played a Hall of Fame career. And, what more can you ask for out of a guy in his 13th season? He can't carry the whole defense every year. And there's bigger whole defense than just Lavonte David. So we can put eyes on Lavonte David and we can look at his play on the field and say, oh, he's slipping. But show me another player on the field that's not playing bad. Because they all are playing bad. The defensive effort is a collection plate, and it's been passed around to everybody. There's one player, and a lot of people not gonna believe this. There's one player that is having a top season in the league this season for the Bucks on defense. And his name is Jamal Dean.
Yep.
And he took a pay cut this previous offseason to free up money on the cap and turn around and doing that is almost having a career year.
Well,
if you look at our secondary as a whole, trash. But if you want to, really look at it and pinpoint, okay, this player is actually having a good season. He might be the best player on our defense this season. It's probably not a might be. It's probably he's been the best player on our defense all season. And
right.
Vita Vea, obviously, because he does what he's supposed to do, but he's one defensive lineman. He can't do everybody else's job.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, David is already, I've been saying it for a long time. He's really playing out of position in this 3-4 defense, but he's doing it. He's not an inside linebacker of a traditional 3-4 defense.
Right.
So for that, he's doing fine. Now, he won't be the reason why anybody get fired in his offseason. If it come down to that and coaches get fired, it won't never be because of David. But as a whole, David has, total tackles. He's over 100 tackles for the season. Now, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's always done that his whole career, forced fumbles. Got a fumble recovery, has 1 interception, and 3 pass defense. So you said Max Crosby has 6. Levante David has 3. Now let's do something else. We're gonna go to Buccaneers stats. We're gonna see how many pass defense our defensive backs have. Because meanwhile, while you can't, obviously they haven't played well because our pass rush isn't good. Pass defense shows which guys are actually doing their job. So, Tyke Smith, I would say that young man has had a pretty decent season. He's actually playing better than Antoine Winfield. And you hear his name all the time. Well, Tyke Smith is second on the team in total tackles as a safety with 94 tackles. He has 56 solo tackles. Well, Levante David has 54, and Savasier Dennis has 60. And honestly, bro, personally, I don't even think Savasier Dennis is, to me, ain't even playing that well. But that's another thing. If we want to talk about rushing the passer, he's not it either. But pass defense. There's one player on this team that's got over 10.
And who is that?
That would be Tyke Smith with 13. He's leading the team in pass defense. As a safety, he has 13 pass defense, 1 interception, and Jamal Dean is second on the team with 8. Now, Antoine Winfield has 7 for his own, but, he's also, a safety, which, as a safety with 13 pass defense, that means you're doing something in coverage. And most of the times, you don't get safeties that can really cover that good. So, Tyke Smith might be, a guy in the future that might be a force to reckon with. And he's played 1 less game than he's only played 14 games.
Well,
and he has 2 sacks. I mean, he's in 1 less game, he has played better than Antoine Winfield. That's my point. So, but nobody else has 10 pass defense. So, secondary could be an improvement, but at the same time, you also got to look at it as if the pass coverage gets better, then obviously we should improve on the back end as well. So it's just a matter of everything starts up front. And, I'll say this. I say this because, for a lot of years, we made a big deal out of a guy by the name of Jerry Jones, who every year he drafted a offensive lineman or defensive lineman at the top of his drafts. Well, Dallas, for as long as we know, has always been great on the offensive line. And the only way to win football games is The trenches. So if you're not good in the trenches, you're not capable of beating good teams. Well, let's look at it from the Buck standpoint. When we play against top teams, what happens? We get bullied. We get dominated in the trenches.
Yeah, we crumble.
We have trouble in the trenches because we don't value uh defensive and offensive linemen the way we should. Well, you can't win without them.
Well,
You
no,
literally can't win without them.
and see, and here's the problem, and this actually went back to the Tom Brady era, and this is what our problem. This is what our problem is now. We are still trying to be a Tom Brady's Buccaneers team, putting 40, 50 points on the board and calling it a day. We ain't that. That, that our quarterback is not Tom Brady anymore. It's Baker Mayfield. It's shake and bake. We need to stop this. Oh well, we're just gonna outscore them. No, we need we need to stop this Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole, seeing the Cheshire Cat freaking psychedelic dream that we can still put 40, 50 points on the board and call it a day. We we can't do that. We're not that. We are not that team. And unfortunately, that is what it looks like we're still trying to be. If you look at the drafts and you look at the play, look at the play, Derek. Look at the drafts. We're still trying to be a a dominant all we're still trying to be that that dominant offensive Tom Brady offense that we had for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yes, but when Tom Brady was here, yes, loved watching the offense and all that. Even got to go see the offense live when the Bucks played Indianapolis. Yes, loved every minute of it. It was great, but it's over. It's over. We're not there anymore. Okay, we're not. We have got to stop this. We have got to stop this. We have got to start getting serious about what type of team we are because we're not that team anymore, and we need to quit.
Well, people got used to, like you said, the offense scoring, 35, 40 points a game. That's what we was 30 to 40 every game was what we were doing with Tom Brady here. But we were capable of that because of Tom Brady. And we're no longer capable of 30 to 40 a game because you don't have Tom Brady. You don't even have a quarterback that can make decisions and process the game at that speed. And that's saying nothing against Baker. Baker has done the best that he could possibly do for Baker Mayfield. But you're following up Tom Brady. And
Exactly.
you can't outdo that. No matter what Baker does, because Tom Brady went all the way to the top. He won the Super Bowl. So unless Baker Mayfield wins the Super Bowl, uh, you can't do anything to top Tom Brady.
But
Like your
but
numbers are your numbers.
but even if he goes and he wins the Super Bowl, Baker Mayfield is not Tom Brady. He's
No,
not. Okay,
no.
he may have a couple of similarities to Tom Brady, but he is not Tom Brady.
There's
We,
only
we
there's only a few things that Baker Mayfield has over Tom Brady, and that's his ability to extend plays and run.
yes.
I mean, Tom Brady, but Tom Brady wasn't doing that. But because Tom Brady didn't need to, the ball was out of his hands. He didn't need to run. He didn't have to because the ball was out of his hands. So while a lot of people say, "Oh, I love Baker's grit and I love Baker's the passion," and you think he played with more passion than Tom Brady? No. The difference is Tom Brady didn't have to run because he processed the game that fast. He read defenses that fast to where he knew where he was going with the ball. There was no defense he wasn't prepared for.
Well, and as you just stated, people that are saying that they like Baker's grit. I'm one of those people. I do like Baker's grit, but here is the thing: Tom Brady had grit too, but Tom Brady's grit is different than Baker's. And again, we're comparing to me two completely different quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're different quarterbacks. They definitely, yeah, definitely. They're way different quarterbacks.
I mean their style, their style is not their. I mean, there might be one or two similarities, maybe possibly three or four, but that's where it stops. Okay, so we we've we've got look. We got to get off of this Super Bowl hangover or this Super Bowl buzz that we've been on for since we won the Super Bowl, and we need to start. And this team, started with Jason Light, has got to start getting serious about fixing this team, because I'm telling you right now, we lose to Carolina next week, and I am 99.9% sure that is it for Tom Bowles. And
Yeah, he can't.
and all on,
He can't lose. He can't lose next week.
and here's the other thing: I don't think it should be just Tom Bowles that's gone. I think Jason Light should be right out the door. Actually, Jason Light should be out the door before him,
Well, Jason Light just
because
gave himself a raise, so
that's cool. I hope he enjoyed it. That it'll tide him over until he finds another job.
yeah,
I mean that, but no, no, we lose to Carolina at home next week to knock us out of the playoffs, dude. I I don't even think that Tall Bowles makes it. Well, I said before, I don't think he makes it completely off the field. He'll make it off the field, but I do not see him walking out of Raymond James Stadium with a job if he loses. I don't.
yeah.
I really don't.
I mean, he'll
And
make it out the stadium because they won't fire him before then. But that'll
I
probably
don't
be it.
know. I don't know. I there's a part of me that says that if we get embarrassed like we just did today with the Dolphins at home
Yeah.
against a rival,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um. No, I'm not sure that he does make it out of the stadium, Derek. I I I really truthfully think that the Glaciers go down there, and you know I'm not saying that they won't let him have his end of the game little locker room chat thing or whatever it is you want to call it. But after that, yeah, I think that I can very well see the Glaciers or whoever they're appointing to do all this. I can completely see him not walking out of Raymond James Stadium with the job. Um, Again, if there was ever a must-win game,
Yeah,
this
yeah. This is a must win. This is
yeah,
this is this is a must win for a lot of different reasons, but this is a must win because if, like you said, and I believe this, I've been a Bucks fan my whole life. I know how the Glazers do business. They ride under the radar. They don't let rumors or anything like that get out into the public. They don't tell nobody what their moves are gonna be. They just do it. But knowing the Glazers and how prideful they are and having a winner in this area, if we don't win this game on our home turf against a team that we should be better than, against a team
nope,
where the head coach was our offensive coordinator a
yep,
few years back, you should know how to game plan for him. Just like if we was to play Jacksonville, you should know how to game plan for Liam Cohen. So if you can't come up with a defensive game plan against a guy who was later, where you understand his offense, you know he might have changed some terminology, but the reads, the check downs, the audibles, all that should sound familiar. You should be able to go to your own video and come up with a game plan on how to get a win. So if you go out there and you look bad against that team, we got problems. We got we got serious problems, and those problems are they're gonna hunt that head coach because that's gonna be his job. That's gonna be his
yep,
job, bro. That's gonna be his
yep.
job, and
I
there's
I
no
I
there's no other way to put it. Like, and I'm a defensive guy, and I fight for Todd Bowles because I can't take away what he's done as a head coach here, but you have to understand where's the tipping point. When are you starting to get too close to that cliff before you have to walk that plank?
yep,
And for this is Todd Bowles' tipping point. This is
yeah,
your whole season. This is your whole season. Both of these, and the worst thing as a head coach is how you finish. So you got off to a hot start. You got off to a hot start. And then you go into the bye week 6-2. And then you come
mhm,
out after the bye week and you go 2-6. And if you lose this game, it'll be 2-7.
yep,
That ain't definitely you can't as a head coach when you go into the meeting at the end of the season and the Glazers ask you, or Jason Light ask you, Coach, how's everything going? Uh, why
well,
should we keep you? What you got to go off of is those last 8 games, and that's not a good track record. You can't talk about last season. You can't talk about the season before that. You can't talk about the season before that. You got these last 9 games to prove you belong as the head coach of this team moving forward.
and he hasn't done it.
And you ain't done it. Like,
Yeah,
you haven't done it. And then Jason Light, his same question from the Glazers will be, why should you remain our GM? Because this is your problem too.
Well, so it that's why I say that's where it should start is Jason Light, because the only the only players that you have drafted that are that are producing or have produced, Derek, I can count on just a little over one hand those type of players.
Yeah.
Um, First is Chris Godwin. Then you have Vita Vea.
Yep.
You have Jamil D. You
Yep.
have
I'll give him. Uh, what's his thing? I can't. How do I forget this man's name? We were just talking about it. Winfield. I give him Winfield too. I give him
okay,
Winfield.
okay. I'll
He made
give
a
him
Pro
Winfield.
Bowl. I give him Winfield, Pro Bowl safety.
Okay, and then I'll give him Ibuka that he just
Yeah, but
drafted last year.
listen, I'm glad you brought him up because this is going to be clipped into a little short video that I'm gonna put in and share on the Facebook stories and stuff like that too. So
Okay,
there was this discussion going around in the group, and the question was asked: are the Bucks a better team by drafting Emeka Ibuka?
So
My response from that was an automatic. I didn't even hesitate because it's clear. It's on video. No, we're not
okay,
better because by drafting him, you neglected other needs of the team that we really needed and took a guy that you wanted. So we already had a good receiver room. We already had a deep receiver room. One guy don't add to a whole receiver room when you already got two number one receiver in the league in Mike Evans. You got a number one receiver in the league in Chris Godwin. Then you had McMillan. Then you had some of the other guys that was here, last year. You got the
yeah.
deep tight end room that could catch the ball. Wide receiver should have never been at the top of our draft board. It
So
shouldn't have never been at the top of our draft board.
and,
So
and
by neglecting that,
I adamantly agree with you. Now,
yeah,
this is what I would say. Is our team better with Ibuka?
no.
Yes. Our team is better, and I
Where?
will and I will tell you why. Our team is better in our receiver room because you are only as good as your weakest link. So yes, our receiving room
Our
got
receiving
better.
room got better, but the rest
Okay,
of the team where we needed it didn't.
but that's my thing. Yes, we got better in our receiving room. You cannot take anything away from Ibuka.
But it didn't improve the team.
No, it did not.
It
Because
improved the
because we
position, but it didn't improve the team.
because we drafted for a player. Jason Light drafted for a player he wanted, not a player he needed.
Yeah.
So yes, I will say yes. Our team is better with Emeka Ibuka, but where we are better at really wasn't a problem.
Nope. And that's the problem with the pick. That's the problem right there with the pick. And when we took him, I said that. We didn't need
Nope.
him. We didn't need him. Great player in college, could potentially be a very good NFL player. But as a team, when you're a GM and you looking at your draft board, you have need, this what I need, this what we want. You take when when you're a good team and you don't have a whole lot of holes, you can take best player available. But
Right.
Emeka Ibuka Buccaneers was not in a position to take best player available, which might have been him.
No.
Well, it wasn't for us. It wasn't for us. Well, we go into a season. You didn't have a pass rush last season, and your linebackers was not good in coverage last season, and you needed offensive line help, and you needed defensive line help, and you took a skill position. Well, how good is that skill position if you can't protect the quarterback? And how good is that skill position if on defense you can't get to the quarterback? And you bring in Reddick, who was supposed to provide us with something. And all he gave us was, let's see, where is he? 11 games, 25 total tackles, and 2.5 sacks. And how much are we playing him?
Enough.
Well, it ain't enough for that. It ain't enough for that, bro. Your job was to come here and be a edge rusher and get to the quarterback and help us in that area. You have done neither. So again, and this is Jason Light MO, and maybe he has some thing for doing this and going to find guys that are kind of like a rebuilding or a project. But
yeah,
we got to stop going out in the free agency and picking up the guys that other teams don't want and thinking that it's always going to work when we get them. Listen, Shaq Barrett was an anomaly. What he did in his first season coming over from Denver, that you would never see that again.
Nope.
You would never see that again. I don't give a crap what team it is. You'll never see a guy go from being third on the depth chart for another team, go to another team in free agency, and then have a 20-sack season.
Pretty much.
And maybe that gave Jason Light the big head and the ego to think that, oh, this is the way we just gonna do it from now on. But that ain't it. That's not it. So that was a mistake. Right. Like, you brought in Reddick, and he's done nothing for you. Absolutely nothing. And
wasted money.
He's actually underperformed what his projection was for the season. Okay, so let's look at his career. He's 8-year veteran. He's Arizona for 4 years, 1 year in Carolina, 2 years in Philly, 1 year in New York. And every year after he left Arizona, his numbers has gone down. So if you're a GM and you looking for trends, when you bring a player in, what's the trend? Is it trending up or trending down? Well, you brought a guy in to help in an area of desperate need for a team, and you caught him on the downside of his career. Like, yeah, he's only been in the league 8 years, but since year 4, he's progressively gotten worse. And it shouldn't go that way. If you're picking up a good player year 8, his numbers should start low, and from year 1 to year 8, his numbers should either improve or there should be a ladder every year, getting better, or a flat line because he's so good that he's just his numbers are just what it is. But he's had with the Jets, he played 10 games, 1 sack. He had 11 sacks for the Eagles in 23. 22, he had 16. And then 2021 with Carolina, he had 11 sacks. And then in 2020 with Arizona, he had 12 and a half. So why is that? And this is where evaluation comes in, and you have to understand, like, look at the team around him that is allowing him to flourish like this. I'm pretty sure in 2020, when he was in Arizona, you had Chandler Jones and Calais Campbell. And I'm gonna look this up, and I'm gonna put it on the screen because I want to see if I'm correct in this, because I got a pretty good memory. And but I'm pretty sure 2020 he had Chandler Jones next to him or on the other side of him, and Calais Campbell at the defensive tackle. I could be wrong on Calais Campbell, but I know Calais Campbell spent some years in Arizona. So,
Yeah.
But here we are right here, and I have the reticle on here. So I'm gonna bring it on the screen. I'm gonna bring it on the screen right here. So here we got Hassan Reddick numbers, and you can see them right there. You know, Arizona 2020. We already know in Philadelphia what he had around him, because a lot of those guys are still in Philadelphia. So there's a reason why he was able to be good in Philadelphia, is because he had other guys around to take the attention off of him. That's not being an anchor. That's not an anchor guy. Anchor guy can get the attention and still get his numbers. J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, those guys. Chandler Jones, just go back. Strahan, Simeon Rice, go down the line. Bosa boys. I mean, when you're that guy, it doesn't matter who you got around you, because you're going to get yours. But let's see, Arizona. So we're going to go to the Arizona roster in 2020. I'm almost positive Calais Campbell, not Calais Campbell, but Chandler Jones was on that team. But
I'm pretty sure he was.
We're gonna look it up.
If my memory serves me correctly, I want to say I thought he got traded like the very next year, but I could be wrong.
Let's see. Depth chart roster. Hold on, man. I know there's a. There we go. Here we go. 2020. All right. So 2020. I'm gonna go to a game, because I don't know if I go to 2020, will it pull up the 2020 roster too?
I thought it would.
No, it's just pulling up this roster. So I just go to the 2020 schedule, and then I'll just click on one of the games, and that'll let me know who is on that roster. Okay, so where the box score at? Okay, there we go. Box score. Recap, box, team stats. Full team stats. There we go. Hold on now. Where they at now? There they go. Let me see. Bro, I just clicked on it. Full box. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Defense. Arizona. Reddick. Chandler Jones. I knew Chandler Jones was on there. Gary, I knew Chandler Jones was on there. No, I think Calais Campbell was gone by then. But you got Patrick Chung, Corey Peters. He was a decent defensive tackle. Chandler Jones was the anchor. Reddick. And let me see. And I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Chandler Jones probably had about 15 sacks that season. So let's go to Chandler Jones. Oh, 2022. That's his last season, but that's not the game. It's not the season I'm looking for. 2020. 2020. Oh, he only played 5 games that year, so he probably got hurt, and he only had 1 sack. But previously, all them years he was in Arizona after leaving New England.
No.
What?
Oh, my bad, dude. I'm while we're talking, somebody just sent me the Josh Allen pass.
Oh, you saw? Okay, you see it? You see what I'm talking about?
Bro,
That was a bad
wide
miss.
open.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Bro, I don't know.
Dude, he had at least 3 feet.
Yeah, 3 feet. Shh. Try 6.
No. I mean the receiver had at least 3 feet on that defender.
Oh yeah. He was wide open.
Oh,
You couldn't have been that more
man.
wide open.
No.
Yeah, that was a bad throw, bro. I told you.
Okay.
I told you.
I'm sorry. I'm back.
Yeah, so 2020, obviously I was correct in, him playing with Chandler Jones, but that year Jones was injured and Reddick, put those numbers up while Jones was injured. So I was partially correct, but Arizona that year, they had a pretty good season that year. They had a pretty good team around him defensively to allow him to be able to be that guy. So when you come to a team that's got holes and they're looking for you to be that guy to take the attention but still produce, but at the same time, take some attention off of some of the other players, you have to be able to do that. And maybe he's just not that type of player. So if you're gonna spend that kind of money and bringing in players to be the anchor of your teams, then you got to produce. And he didn't produce. And I think Jason Light, again, we said it at the time, and we'll continue to say it until it happens. Jason Light has to be held accountable for what he's doing. You can't be satisfied with being the worst of the division winners every year. Like you can win the South, but the South ain't winning no Super Bowls. The South will never be favorites to win anything when your teams are winning less than they're losing.
Well,
so, I mean, for me, it comes down to next week. It comes down to next week, next Sunday. It's this. Hey, next Sunday is for all the marbles. Next Sunday is for all the marbles. That is what that's what I'm saying. I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but for me, next Sunday will decide if you're gonna be the head coach of this team next season, or we gonna go into the off season and I'm getting rid of everybody.
Yep.
I'm getting rid of everybody, and it might hurt for some of y'all to hear this, But I'm chopping everything down from the top. You know, you if you cut a tree, if you cut a diseased tree and you don't take the roots out, the tree is still technically there.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta pull the whole tree out the ground, man. And you know, do something, shocking, shock everybody, do something to show you serious about this team improving. Glazers, I know you got it in you. You fired Tony Dungy, and freaking Tony Dungy was better than this.
Yep.
I mean, actually, no. Let me take that back. That was the father that did that. Father Glazer had still cojones. I don't know about these sons, but the daddy was cutthroat. He was the mind. He was the mind behind the Buccaneers. The son didn't run the team. Malcolm ran the team.
Yep.
The sons handled the soccer stuff. They dealt with it. They did all of the soccer stuff. But Malcolm ran the Buccaneers.
Yep.
So,
Well,
who knows, man?
this is what I'm going to say. The Glaciers, yes, they love the Bucks. They do. Okay. There's no questioning that. However, I think they have more of a mind for soccer than they do American football.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. With that being said, not saying you have to sell the team. You don't have to sell the team. You don't have to do that. But what you should probably consider doing is kind of almost going in a Green Bay Packer type direction. And what I mean by that is you hire a CEO for your football team. That CEO is the liaison to the owners. This guy, the buck stops with him. Okay, he is making all of the football decisions and stuff like that. Now, my dream candidate would be Tony Dungy. He ain't gonna come back and do anything like that. He's
Yeah.
not. Okay. He has a great gig doing Sunday Night Football. He's got his charity, etc., etc. Okay. But you need to find a football guy, a football front office guy that has a proven track record, he himself, and you need to make this man, you need to put this man in a CEO type position to actually start this rebuild. Now, there's there's two people, I'll say two people that right now that I would be okay with coming in as the CEO of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I mean, they called Derek Brooks too. He's over at USF as
Yep.
a high position over there at South Florida. You can always
Okay.
call him. I mean, him and John Lynch is best friends. You got John Lynch doing his thing in San Francisco. Why not just bring Derek Brooks in the fold and make him your GM?
You know what? What be a bad move? But you just said one of the guys that I would approach about being the CEO
Oh yeah, I mean,
of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's John Lynch. I would go to John Lynch. I would be like,
yeah. Hey, listen, man, John Lynch got his roots are here in Tampa. This is where he started at, but he got roots in California too. That's where he born and raised, and I think that'll be a hard sell. I don't know if they'll be able to pull him. I
well,
mean, at the end of the day, it always comes down to, where you feel like the organization is at. And you can't leave San Francisco and come back to Tampa and say, I feel like I'm in a better situation.
no, and that's where the position comes in, because if you make John Lynch the president CEO of the Bucks, that's above a GM. That's the only way that you sell this to John Lynch. That is the only way,
Yeah.
hands down. That, I mean, there's no muss, no fuss. Like, he is not gonna, unless he wants the whole nostalgia factor. He is not coming to Tampa as a GM.
No.
He's coming to Tampa as a president or CEO of the company. That's what he's coming as. And let me tell you, that pocketbook better be open wide, because dude ain't coming here for peanuts.
No, 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 not with that track record he just put up in San Francisco. Boy, he gonna be making more. He gonna have to pay him more money than the owner to get him out of San Francisco. But listen,
But
I,
it got
I
but
would
it got
look,
but it goes back to the question you asked a few minutes ago. How serious are you about winning?
you right. If you pull that off, you serious about winning. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
See,
But it's not happen. That's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen.
look, I'm just saying the only way it does happen is if John Lynch is in a position like that. John Lynch is not coming to Tampa as a general manager. He's not doing it.
No, 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 it ain't. You you
And
you 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 right in that matter. It'll have to be a position that is higher than the GM management that he currently holds in San Francisco. But man, listen, San Francisco, since John Lynch is pulled up, has been one of the most physically intimidating teams in the league, both offensively and defensively, since he's
yeah,
been
but
there.
but
And
but
it's
but
just
but I want you to think about something, and
right.
and I want you to look real close at them San Francisco teams. Want you to look real close at them,
Mm-hmm.
especially on that defensive side of the ball. What does
Yeah.
that remind you of?
Oh, the old Buccaneers defense, man, just
Thank
at
you, thank you
speed,
very much.
just fast, and I mean Fred Warner. Fred Warner is probably one of my favorite linebackers in the league to watch. It sucked to see him go down and get hurt because I
Yep.
really do watch San Francisco. And when I watch the 49ers, I am specifically watching him. I'm watching Fred Warner play football. And it's a joy to watch that man play football. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame. If he's not, something is wrong. But
Right. But
he's in
no.
that same class of Patrick Willis. Patrick
Mhm.
Willis. And then this is another thing with San Francisco. How lucky can you be? And we could say the same thing for the Bucks. You had Patrick Willis, who was probably the most physically gifted linebacker we've ever seen in the history of football.
Easily.
And then you go from Willis to Warner.
Yep.
And With the Bucks, you go from Brooks to Levante.
Hey, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. Bro,
you need
bro,
a little bit of luck involved in that,
bro,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that when I sit back and I look at that type of 49ers type defense that they have going on back there, I'm like, that kind of looks a little familiar.
Well, you know John Lynch mindset, bro. And those are the type of players he's looking for.
Man. Yeah, hey, you gonna be posting this up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be
All
posting
right, Glazers. Look,
it.
I'll ask your boy for a minute. This is the professor.
Oh boy.
This is the professor talking, man. Look, about time for you all to go ahead sell that 6th and 7th house. Y'all don't need it, okay? Y'all need to getting some money together. Y'all need to be flying old Johnny Boy out here, and need to make sure that this man don't leave one buck place without a contract in hand. Look, I don't care if you even have to give him part of the damn team. Y'all need it. Look, it's time for y'all to quit playing.
Stop playing these games.
Yeah, y'all need to quit playing. You bring John Lynch in. Be like, here you go. Here's the keys to the castle. We're gonna be over in Europe. If y'all need anything, go ahead and holler. Don't care how you set this organization up. We just want to win. That's it. Here you go. Here's the ATM card. All right. Whatever you have to spend to get this franchise back to the prominence and the dominance that it was when John Lynch was a player here. That's what I want to see. Look, I like a good offense just like the next person. But man, don't know how many times I have to say this. Defense wins championships.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in the league now where they're trying to convince you that defense don't win and offense
Nah,
does. Well,
nah.
just put it like this. At the end of a game, offense got the ball going down the score, and your defense is on the field last. How you gonna win that game?
Interception.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, defense win championships. No
That's
matter
right.
how you slice it, it's always
That's
gonna
right.
come down to defense. It's always gonna come down to it. Either your defense don't get the stop and you get scored on, or your defense get the stop and you hosting the championship.
Right.
Either way, it comes down to defense. So you better make an investment in defense and value it like you should, man. That's it. I mean, we're not an offensive. Listen, as a Bucks fan, we sucked for a long time. We sucked for a long time.
Yep.
But one thing we always did, even when we sucked, we played defense. We played defense. Harden Nickerson, we played defense, man.
Yes,
Melvin Johnson. How many people remember that? Melvin Johnson, Donnie Abraham, Brad Culpepper. This before Dungy came. Sam White.
Yep.